Are you scared of the dark? Well, Sam is. Pajama Sam is a game you probably haven't heard of, and if you have, well, shut the Well, let me tell you a tale of the history of Pajama Sam. The Pajama Sam games are a series of 4 games that are point-and-click children's adventure and puzzle games developed by Humongous Entertainment. Humongous Entertainment was founded in 1992. They have made phenomenal games such as Putt Putt Saves the Zoo, the Freddy Fish series, Freddy with an I, Pajama Sam, obviously, Spy Fox,
Baba Booey,
and their most popular release, Fatty Bear's Birthday Surprise. The release of the first 2 Pajama Sam games, they proved themselves as a success when they sold 1 million copies. Not 1, not 2, that's right, 40 awards of excellence. The first Pajama Sam game came out on October 4th, 1996, titled Pajama Sam No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside. If you're asking why these games' names are so long, don't ask me. Ask Ron Gilbert and Shelley Day, who are the founders of Humongous Entertainment. Humongous Entertainment was defunct, absolutely out of business, on July 1st, 2006. And well, I can see why. If your company makes pixelated games for 5-year-olds and you don't make a game for how many years, your company gets demolished. The brand was bought on July 19th, my birthday, 2013, and despite being a children's adventure brand, their most recent game is a baseball game made in 2008. Makes total sense. Well, they have a YouTube channel that hasn't uploaded for 2 years. They have a website that has a news section that hasn't been updated in 4 years. And they have a Twitter that I think someone uses as a personal account because their account follows over 1,000 people and most importantly follows Black Nerd Comedy, Skinny Pop Popcorn, and Nick Mom. A children's company follows a YouTuber, a popcorn bag, and a hashtag MotherFunny. That's a new one. Well, they also have a Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, but I don't even need to look at them because I already know they're going to be a ghost town full of bad memories.
Team 10, and how? It's coming to an end.
Relatively recently, they started making bundles of the games so that people would finally buy them. Well, I don't know if they've worked, but I'm sure they didn't. They have been posting on Twitter and maybe other social medias about holiday sales on which their games, from what I'm seeing, is always above 70% off. Again, dying dead company. Oh, and they offer a membership on their website which tells you about sales, gives information about the latest games, and an exclusive club he offers. I'm pretty sure he is supposed to mean H.E and stand for Humongous Entertainment, but they put he. And you put in your age and name and whatever, and that's it. Now I'm just going to be getting emails from time to time about basically nothing. So enough about this brand full of, well, nothing, because it's out of business, but spiritually, it's full of kids' dreams, and then those kids' broken dreams, because this company fell flat. But did Pajama Sam fall flat? Well, yes, literally. The first Pajama Sam game surrounds Sam, who is a kid who is apparently 24 years old and is scared of the dark. You play as him, by the way. Sam idolizes a comic book hero by the name of Pajama Man, and since Sam has a humongous like the company, fear of the dark, he has created his own persona by the name of, you guessed it, Pajama Sam. He gets scared literally 5 seconds after his mom turns off the light and closes the door to his room for the night because he is a dumb child. So he turns his light on and asks the player to help him find his stuff to get ready to capture darkness. The 3 things he needs are his signature all-metal Pajama Man lunchbox, that's literally what it's called, which apparently captures darkness. He needs his Illumination Mark V Jr., which is his flashlight, and he needs his Pajama Sam mask. He knows how to capture darkness from his idolized comic book hero, Pajama Man. After the player clicks on every possible item in his room, he builds up enough courage to open his closet to capture darkness. He gets into the closet and the door closes behind him for some unknown reason. When the door closed, it startled him and he fell headfirst through a vortex full of epilepsy warnings. After landing in the middle of the woods, only God knows where, he gets up and acts like literally nothing happened. So he walks out of there and finds a sock. Then Sam remembers his mother told him to pick up his socks, so he just does, and they magically appear in a random laundry basket whenever you find a sock from then on. So he continues on, and if you haven't seen yet, if the player clicks on something in frame that's irrelevant, some random thing happens, like a worm or whatever pops out. A playing card flies out from behind a bush. Ooh, so cool. So basically he continues on and you can see a wooden board in the water. And since Sam is an idiotic child, he can't reach it. So he keeps on going and Sam steps into a rope tied to a blue tree, and he gets harassed by a mentally deficient tree, who then takes his Illumination Mark V Jr., his signature all-metal Pajama Man lunchbox, and his Pajama Sam mask, which I don't know if you remember, but he's gonna need those to capture darkness. So anyway, after the brain dead tree takes Sam's stuff and drops into the ground, he has to escape the rope that's holding Sam in the air. So after he unties the rope and fails, again, the blue tree tells Sam that he can keep the rope that was suspending him in the air. So when I played through this game, my caveman brain didn't know how to use the inventory, but when Sam goes back to that wooden plank in the water, he can use the rope to get the plank, but stupid little Sam drops the rope in the water because he's a clumsy little pig. So for me, I went to the treehouse where Darkness lives first, and Sam has to throw some rocks into a basket, and the way to get to Darkness's house is so bad that when he has all the rocks in the basket, the thing he's riding in just crashes into the ceiling. So after Sam almost dies on the machine of certain death, he gets to the entrance of Darkness's house and sees 3 ways to go. One way to go is a door that leads Sam to a room full of dancing furniture that when you click basically anything, they stop dancing and don't respond to anything you do. As of writing this, I have literally no idea why that is in the game. Another way to go is another door that leads Sam to the kitchen, where if you click on any utensil, it sings for some reason. And if you click on the mini elevator thing, it speaks in moon runes, and I cannot understand anything he says.
That's a no-no, we avow it.
And the last place Sam can go is upstairs. Upstairs, he sees a door and some spiral stairs. Up the stairs is the door to Darkness's room, and he cannot go in there because he does not have his stuff yet. So he goes back downstairs and falls again. The other thing upstairs is the door. The door is a game show hosted by the Doors. The Doors magically get faces and ask Sam trivia questions. There are different questions the player can get. I know that because I forgot to save my game when I first played through it the first time. So if you go there first, you discover that the last question is about the water meter in the mines. So when he goes to the mines, the mine cart has rust on its wheels, so he can't move at all. Which makes no sense because there is literal lava in the mines, and rust forms with water. So how do his wheels rust? So Sam goes to the only other way he can go, which is the boat docks. And can you think of a reason why Sam won't be able to cross a body of water? Well, Humongous Entertainment did, and it was that the wooden boat was scared of sinking because his friend told him that his wooden boat friend sank in the water. So Sam throws his wooden plank in the water to prove to the boat that the wood floats. So the boat is just okay with that and jumps in with no sense of caution at all. So Sam gets a ride on the boat, and there are 3 ways to go. The first way to go was across, and it led to a farm. But before you can get to the farm, there are 3 stereotypically rich trees who talk in accents.
Just where do you think you're going?
Nowhere really. I just wanted to pass by.
Just barging through like that?
Without even asking permission? Have you no manners?
And only let trees get to the farm. So Sam literally shoved his big baby blue head into a log and stumbled through the woods and past those stereotypical rich trees because he just, looks like a tree. When he gets on the farm, he sees a carrot wearing his Pajama Sam mask. The carrot says that his carrot friends or something are trapped in Darkness's fridge. So Sam takes the masked carrot to Darkness's kitchen. So basically, Sam fools the fridge into opening by saying that he was going to trap the masked carrot in there with the other carrots. Then, when the fridge opens, Sam just doesn't say anything, and neither does the fridge. So I'm guessing the fridge just accepts that it's been defeated. So the carrots run out the door, and the masked carrot gives Sam his mask back. Sam says something about defeating Darkness, and yada 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 next task. So now Sam goes back to the stupid boat, and this time goes left, and he sees a rock monkey bridge and a shack in the distance. When Sam goes to the rock monkey bridge, it says he cannot cross the bridge unless he has 1 pound of gold. So you could call him a gold digger. I'm not funny. Anyway, Sam doesn't have a pound of gold, so he goes to the shack, and guess what? It's locked. However, there's an oil can next to the shack. There's another way to go from the shack, and that is down a waterfall. If Sam goes down the waterfall, he goes into another part of the mines, and there's Sam's signature all-metal Pajama Man lunchbox. And my question is, how did a mentally deficient tree put a metal lunchbox down a waterfall and underwater? I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. But this game is for 2-year-olds, so I can't really complain. So after Sam almost falls in the water trying to get his lunchbox, him and Stupid Boat go into another cave and get shot up a geyser. After getting beamed by a geyser up to the surface, Sam leaves the area, and wow, Sam just came from the right area by the Stupid Boat dock. So Sam then goes to the mines and uses the oil can on the minecart's somehow rusted wheels, and the rust just disintegrates into thin air. So Papa Minecart is just fine immediately, so he takes Sam on a minecart ride to some intense music. And he finds a pickaxe in another area in the mine, and then he gets to a part that says gold. So Sam greedy, so he goes into the gold area. So you have to click on another track while moving on another track, and if you do, Papa Minecart gets on a track and then takes Sam to the gold mine. When there, he takes out a pickaxe that is literally the size of him and barely hits a piece of gold, and it just falls into Papa Minecart. Then Papa Minecart asks for a piece of gold that Sam mined, and it just disappears into his cart, which obviously makes zero sense. Then Sam takes his gold and brings it back to the rock monkey bridge, and the rock monkey weighs the gold, somehow he has hands, and then lets Sam go through. Don't ask me why this exists, or what the actual I can't say that word, went through Humongous Entertainment's mind when they designed this, but it's just a place with a toaster on a park bench, and there's a bunch of tic-tac-toe boards hanging, but the boards are way too big. So the toaster explains that it's not tic-tac-toe, but in fact it's, you'll get a kick out of this one, cheese and crackers. Yeah, I cannot think of why a game about being scared of the dark has a game about cheese and crackers. So if you remember back to the beginning of the game, we needed to know what the water meter said in the mines. So after going back to the mines, Sam goes to the trivia doors, and after answering the question, the doors open and Sam can go inside. After going through the door, Sam basically just falls because the room is upside down for some reason. So there are two ways to go from there, a door and another door. When you're clicking on the second door, the door handle falls off and Sam picks it up. So after clicking on the first door, he enters a room with talking instruments and a stone head that talks to. So once again, this room makes no sense, like the other places I've said. It doesn't make any sense either. So Sam takes the door handle to that shack, that is the broken door, and puts the handle on it and opens the door to find the flashlight. While playing this, I personally thought there would be something bigger to lead up to fighting the flashlight, but nope, it's just in a moldy, crusty, sinky shack. So the only thing left is the metal lunchbox that Sam already knows where it is. So I had no idea what to do for a solid 20-30 minutes and just kind of sat there. Then I realized that there was a third way to go after going through the trivia doors. By the way, whenever you go back upstairs in Darkness's treehouse, the trivia doors are arguing about something I don't really care about.
Like to see how you can manage things without me. I mean, shh.
So while inside the trivia doors, if Sam goes the third way to go, which I am blind and did not see, he goes into a hallway with a door in the floor. When Sam goes through the door, he goes into a room with a bookshelf. If you click on only the green books, the shelf rotates and Sam rotates with the shelf. But the player can see that on the other side of the shelf is a magnet. So after swinging around with the bookshelf, Sam goes into a room with two doors. One that, when open, goes to the mine, and whenever he goes out of the door, Papa Minecart just magically knows Sam's there and picks him up. But the other door leads to a mad scientist lab, and in that lab is, you guessed it, literally nothing. Well, there is something there. And remember the mini elevator from the kitchen that speaks moon runes? Well, when Sam presses the down button, it shows up here. And to go up in the elevator, it just eats him and spits him out upstairs. So if Sam goes back to the bookshelf room, the bookshelf is already rotated so Sam can grab the magnet. Wow. So obviously Magnet grabs metal, and Lunchbox made a cheap metal, so goes to the signature all-metal Pajama Man Lunchbox and grabs it from the water. And now that Sam has all the tools he needs to capture Darkness, he goes back to Darkness's room and does a meh cutscene.
Okay, this is it. This is the big one. Alright, I'm ready. Darkness! It is I, Pajama Sam! I have come to vanquish you! Hello?
Which, oh my god, what a coincidence, looks exactly like Sam's room back at his house. I wonder why it looks like that. So Darkness isn't in his room, but there is an overly large lock on the closet door. So there's a cabinet on the wall that Sam can open, and out falls 5,000 different keys. If you click on the keys, Sam just tries it on the lock and none of them work. So you have to click on the cabinet again, and apparently there's just a key hanging on the hook. How did it not fall out with the others? I have the foggiest idea, but it happened. So Sam opens the door, and the door shuts behind him. I'm getting deja vu. Are you? So Sam goes deeper into the closet, looking scared out of his prepubescent mind, and then he tries to act cool, and says that he will vanquish Darkness.
Hi, Pajama Sam! I've come to vanquish you!
I'm pretty sure we all thought that Darkness was going to be this force that Pajama Sam is going to have a mediocre cutscene to fight, and Sam will come out on top. But no. This is a children's point-and-click puzzle game, so there needs to be a lesson. So instead of Darkness being this bad guy that Sam needed to defeat, Darkness is just a dude who can only go outside at night, so he has no friends.
Yes, but I never have anyone to play with. At night, when I come out, everybody's asleep.
So Sam says he will be his friend, and then they play, you guessed it, cheese and crackers. The only game that's fitting. So after they're done playing, Sam leaves the closet, and what's this? Sam is back at his own bedroom. Wow, nobody saw that coming. So yeah, he goes to sleep and says that he'll hang out with Darkness later, and that's the end of this pixelated acid trip called Pajama Sam.
Wait, hold it, I just had a bruh moment.
No matter how much I hated on this game, I still loved playing it when I was younger and when I replayed it for this video. All in all, it was released in 1996 and it truly isn't up to today's standards, so I can say that there are some parts that are absolutely horrifically stupid. Personally, I hated the stupid boat's voice. By the way, after writing this, I was on their website and they advertised professional voice acting. I don't think that wooden toilet's voice was professional. So some things made zero sense, like how there was rust on Papa Minecart's wheels inside of a mine, and some things were funny, like how mentally deficient the trees who took Sam's stuff are. But I bet if this game was made today, it would be 10,000 times better and would be developed by some dumb knockoff brand. So no matter how much I made fun of it, it's still a good game, and you guys should buy it on Steam. So to end this
part of the video
off, let's just say, Pajama Sam is just a dumb kid who's scared of the dark.
He was big and strong and he had a diamond toe.
Do you think thunder and lightning is loud? Well, guess what, you sorry son of a bitch. Mother Nature took a massive dump and that thunder was the result. Well, that's what I thought at first. Apparently all weather is made from complex machinery that mysteriously floats in the clouds. I will say that this game in the franchise is the better of the two games in this video. It ties up loose ends, it explains characters, and most importantly, makes 15 times more sense than the first one. The first game had so many things that made no sense to me, but this one feels like it had actually good writing. They were both written by the same person, but I feel like while writing the first one, he was on a second-hand high by his stoner friend Brent. But while writing this game, he was listening to Christian rock music with his personal pastor. Oh, that's a good one. And this game, once again, has a name that is way too long. This game is so long, in fact, that when this game was made into a mobile game, they changed the name to just Pajama Sam Thunder and Lightning, which means that even the creators of this game hated their own idea. So in the end, this game is much better than the first one, and I get it. They have more experience, so I can't really hate on much about this game, but you know me.
Okay, who likes Fortnite?
So you know all about Sam already, so let's just get into the beginning of this 3-year-old's fantasy. Okay, so I never said this literally anywhere in the video, but there's a thing where there's puzzle pieces around the map, just like the socks in the last game, but when you click on the puzzle piece, it's just like a sock. You make a puzzle. I literally knew what the puzzle was going to be after the first 2 puzzle pieces. So really I didn't need to mention it, but here it is. So this game starts with Big Baby Bluehead in a living room of some sorts, just watching. I'm guessing a movie or a cartoon or something of some random superheroes getting clapped by a Tornado Man supervillain. Then Tornado Man supervillain opens a box and out pops, you guessed it, Pajama Man pops out of that tiny jack-in-the-box sized crate. Then it shows Sam in the middle of the night, probably past his 6 o'clock bedtime, watching Pajama Man reruns. So there's a storm outside, and he hears some thunder and lightning. He then gets scared out of his mind, and hides inside his couch. So he then says that someone needs to do something about this weather. Like, what is he gonna do? Tell his parents? He can't just stop the storm. So he turns into his alter ego, Pajama Sam. Then when he goes to the stairs to get to his attic, and oh my god, I saw my new Lord and Savior. There is a picture of baby Sam on the wall, and it looks like a gremlin. When I saw this, I kid you not, I almost peed on myself due to how stupid that big baby blue monster looks. He goes up the ladder, and you'd assume he'd end up in like an attic, like a normal attic ladder brings you to an attic. But no, he ends up on a cloud above his house. And even he is surprised about what in God's name just happened. And cut to title card! So he ends up at the gate to worldwide weather, and the talking gate won't let him in. So he decides to take a crowbar and climb inside a wooden crate. And a forklift takes the crate with him inside to the Worldwide Weather Center. Inside there are 2 ways to go. One way brings you to a hailstorm machine, which is terribly designed by the way. So if he goes in there, he gets hit in the head and wusses out. The other way to go brings you inside an office building lobby. Inside there's a telephone that says the same thing every time Sam enters that area for the entire game.
Welcome to Worldwide Weather, sir.
And when I tried to call the police because I think Sam was drugged, he just doesn't let me. So dear family, I'm never coming home.
I'm terribly sorry, but...
So next, Sam goes to the reception what the fuck? Area and can't go past until he has an appointment. So Sam needs to find a key card to get into the main control room, and on the wall is the number to dial for an appointment. While inside the main control room, Sam scares the poop out of Thunder and Lightning, who are the operators of all weather on Earth. And before I get on with anything else, I'm just going to say whenever Sam meets someone new in this game. He introduces himself like his game just won 40 awards of excellence. Oh wait, they did. So his ego is so massive that he introduces himself all the time, so get used to it.
I'm Pajama Sam!
Okay, back to the control room. Sam f***s everything up. He trips on his own cape and accidentally presses the big red button. What does the big red button do, you may ask? It basically starts the weather apocalypse. Snow in deserts, sun in Antarctica, and tornadoes wherever. So the Thundy and the Lighty make Sam their errand monkey to go fix the weather machines because he was drugged and isn't allowed to call the cops. So after getting the number for an appointment from the wall, he makes an appointment with the talking chair. He goes into the office area and snoops around. He sees 4 ways to go. A bathroom which is locked, 3 normal doors, and a kitchen door. That's 5. What the frick am I writing? The kitchen door leads to a vending machine with a Y-pipe in it. That's something he needs to fix machines. After talking to the Y-pipe, I unintentionally fell into a trance where I just played tic-tac-toe with ketchup and mustard for 5 minutes. When Sam leaves the kitchen, he can go to the supplies office where a stapler has a mental breakdown over Sam being a spy, then frantically explains that he can't give out any supplies to protect them. That's his job, protecting office supplies. Even though when clicking on all the stuff in his office, he says that he needs them so he can use them. So I don't understand his job. After leaving Unstable Stapler's office, he can go into Mr. Somebody's office, which is their real name. In his office, there really isn't anything to do. It's just there for the player to be able to make an appointment with someone. The last door leads to a boardroom where wooden boards and a chair are having a meeting about questions to ask people they're going to hire. So they ask Sam to answer the questions and test them out. And that's it. There's a bunch of references to the first game, but I don't really understand why this exists. After writing this, I realized that it's probably because the last game had a question part to it, and the developers wanted to replicate that here. They didn't do a good job, because this questionnaire leads to nothing. Next, Sam has absolutely no caution with the bridges, because they are small and they just float there. Somehow, he's doing flips and jumping across them, and I genuinely wish he fell off the bridge if the player clicked too fast. One thing I will criticize about this game is that it's too easy to figure things out at times. Like, the wing nut that he needed to find, it's down a drain. And when Sam goes into one of the next rooms, there's a shrinking machine. Pretty obvious, right? I thought the exact same thing when I was 7. So he goes to the area with the shrinking machine, and there's 2 ladders. One ladder brings you to a snowflake inspector who has to look and make sure every snowflake is unique. And that's where another part is needed, by the way. Up there is a snowflake meter. I have no f***ing idea why this exists, because I tried it like 500,000 times to figure it out, and I never figured out why it's a thing. So after getting shrinkified, Sam dives into the pipes and has to navigate through the pipes to get to the wing nut. And after reaching it, he returns it to the place where the wing nut needs to go. And since he's shrinkified, he can't reach. Surprise!
I can't put wingnut back?
Obvious! And after getting de-shrinkified, he can go back and almost die falling, trying to fix a machine. The machines around the wingnut started talking too, and while listening to them, a box TV from before my time comes off screen and is a video feed of Thundy and Lighty. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. And they just basically say that Sam fixed the machine, blah blah blah, and when it cuts to Sam, he's just looking up and I don't really know, he just kind of looks stupid. There are zooming noises when Sam runs across the bridges, and it makes no sense because he's running like a 6-year-old. And it makes car noises like a car with 600 horsepower. Sam then goes into the wind machine thing and has to get to the next area, but the cloud is there. Oh no, what are we gonna do? So when he gets up there, there's nothing there except a way up to 3 lockers, which have no purpose. So when Sam goes another way, he gets to where the Y-pipe goes, and right there is the yellow box looking thing. Apparently that's the inspector detector. The inspector detector's only job is to find the snowflake inspector, and when you try to feed it sunshine, you need to open it with a can opener. All the way back to the kitchen. And after Sam opens the can, the inspector detector, I'm just going to call him Finder from now on, joins him on their journey to find the snowflake inspector. It'll be a noble adventure that'll take 5 years, and it's 2 rooms away. It's literally just 2 rooms away. Like, it's not that hard. The Finder finds the snowflake inspector in a washing machine looking thing, and oh no, said the writer of this game, we need to make this game longer, the writer says. So the snowflake inspector, I'm just going to call him Flaky, feels as if he isn't appreciated in the machine area. And I don't even work there, and I can tell he's a handful. So he doesn't want to go. So Sam gives him an Employee of the Month ribbon, and he's like, okay, cool. And is fine with going back to his job. And Finder just stays behind, and Sam never sees him again. Anyway, Sam goes to the snowflake place and puts Flaky back to work. And here comes the box TV with Thundy and Lighty. Lighty just basically yells at Sam through the screen, and Thundy... Why am I laughing at myself? Lighty just basically, frick me. Lighty just basically yells at Sam through the screen, and Thundy is just on his depression medication. Stop laughing at me. So they just say, good job, and leave Sam to continue being their errand monkey. Sam goes back to the wind room and puts a hand crank into the wind-making thing and turns it facing the clouds. He then turns on the machine so they blow away the clouds and he can walk through. So when getting through the clouds, there are 3 lockers. Don't ask, they do nothing. However, up there, Sam finds a hard hat. After finding the hard hat, he puts it on, and to test it out, he pulls out his trusty dusty crowbar and hits himself over the head 2 times. Sam's IQ is through the floor. If you remember, there is somewhere that he would need a hard hat for. Is it the hail room, a literal garbage fire, or his dad's divorce attorney office? You guessed it, it's the garbage fire. Oh wait, that's the answer for the ratings on the 4th and final game in the Pajama Sam series. The answer is obviously the hail room. On his way to the hail room, there's just a 20-second conversation between Thundy and Lighty of them just sending a report of the accident to their boss, Mother Nature, because who else would run the weather, right guys? Then he tries to call the police one more time because Thundy and Lighty are making him into a slave. After trying to get everyone in that building arrested, he goes to the hail room, and to use his hard hat, he goes in and just lets himself get hit in the head multiple times because he's a cocky son of a... Because the door is a room full of wooden crates, just like the one he used to enter the facility in the first place, and the room is a vacuum cleaner that is a dog. When I got to this part, I genuinely thought I was dreaming or something, because that is something someone could only come up with while high on badly animated pixels. So Sam knows that the vacuum is a dog somehow and pets it. And by the way, I haven't mentioned it yet, but when Sam puts something in his inventory, he either puts it behind his cape and it disappears, and I get that, it's used in a bunch of actually good children's games. However, the other way he puts stuff away, it looks like he's hitting himself in the crotch. I'm just going to mention it now and hopefully never again. So, there's an elevator that can go to 4 different floors. Baba Booey! The first being the first floor that Sam's on now. The second being the second floor with a sick gaming setup, probably from FaZe. The third being the roof with a mini game that has Sam looking through binoculars to find Pajama Man comic that are in the land of darkness. That means that the 2 games are not only connected, but close enough to see each other that you can see the Cloud Factory from the Land of Darkness. And I bet you, though the Land of Darkness was underground because of the whole tunnel of epileptic seizures, but no, apparently it's on the surface of whatever planet Sam is on. My entire understanding of this franchise is down the toilet. So the final floor is the basement, where Sam finds earthquake in a can. I bet their catchphrase is, for all our environmental terrorists out there, here's your weapon. Also, down there is a part you need to fix the wind machine. Also, there are colored boxes that he needs to obviously climb to get to the wind fixer part. So the second floor has the thing that moves the boxes around. After Sam moves the boxes the right way, he can climb it to get to the wind fixer, who is scared of Sam. I mean, who would be scared of his face? So he gets to the part and shoves it into the wind machine to fix it. And here comes the box TV with Thundy and Lighty. Within the first couple seconds, Lighty just shakes her head like a madman. And then, oh no, they get a video call from Mother Nature. And Lighty, as usual, pulls an unstable stapler and has a mental breakdown. Then Sam can choose to use earthquake in a can in the kitchen, and only the kitchen, and it doesn't do anything. So I had to research what Sam has to do here. And apparently he has to go to an area that I had no idea how to use, and get 2 coins by making a rainbow and collecting the pot of gold that's at its end. And after taking the gold, you can use literal gold coins in a vending machine for cheap snacks. So because this game needs to be longer, the Y pipe gets stuck in the vending machine. So then Sam has to use the earthquake in a can to shake the machine to get Y pipe to fall out. Sam can then bring Y-Pipe back to his place in the machine, and then boom, hard cut to Thundy and Lighty freak out, because Mother Nature is coming to inspect the machine. I haven't mentioned it yet, but Mother Nature looks like a raisin. You know, back to the regular scheduled programming. Anyway, Thundy and Lighty try to distract Mother Nature from noticing that everything is out of whack in the world. Then Sam comes into the control room, and Mother Nature says that everything is fine. Wow, unexpected. And Sam introduces himself to Mother Raisin as Pajama Sam, because his ego is too big for his head. After Mother Raisin leaves, Lighty lets Sam control the weather, even though he messed it up in the first place. So he controls the kabooms of the lighting, and the game ends there. And I thought he would end up back in his house somehow, but nope, nothing like that here. That is honestly one of my most real complaints about this game. That was a massive twist in the last game, even though it was obvious. It was still unique for this type of game, and I liked it. And in this one, they removed the concept entirely. Great job, Humongous. You're a humongous disappointment. So here it is. The end of the first 2 games. I'd say I liked the second game better as a child and now. Even though they both had major flaws, they're actually both pretty good. But again, in the end, they were made in the 90s, and I can't really blame them for that. They're revolutionary for that time, and nowadays they're just kind of, This game was actually nice and full of childhood memories, but the next two games might be good or might not be. I don't know, but you can know if you left a like on this video and a subscribe. Then I'll know that this franchise is worthwhile. So to end the full video, let's say, I'm sorry that this video is like 4 weeks late, but like, I don't know, I really haven't made a video like this before, so I just wanted to kind of try it. And hopefully you guys liked it, but, you know, if you didn't, then, what you gonna do? But, as my last words, I'm gonna say, Fortnite is just as bad as Pajama Sam's sense of humor.